beautiful humans. We spent the last few weeks learning how to read the room. But today, I want to ask you a tough question. When was the last time you were curious? And I don't mean curious about what the neighbor's doing down the road or did so-and-so get a new car. Those are all kind of surface level curious. I mean curious on a person's why, or curious on how the world works. See, somewhere between the age of 7 and 37, we lost our wonder and we traded it in for efficiency. We stopped asking, how does this work? And started asking, how fast can I get this done? If I die tomorrow, I don't want to leave behind a life that I lived on autopilot. I don't want to be someone who just checked the boxes. I never want to be someone who didn't truly look at the world and see it for the beautiful place that it is. The moment you think you know everything about a person or a subject is the moment you stopped living and just started to exist. Today, we're bringing back the question mark. Are you ready? Okay. We have a problem. Yeah, me included. We've mistaken information for intimacy. We believe that because we can look up anything in 3.2 seconds on Google, we know something. I can tell you this. Most times when I look up something on Google, yes, I find the answer. And Lord knows the joke is don't ever look up anything medical because it's always going to say you're going to die. Well, guess what? Technically, it's right. Eventually. But before we die, let's live. Every day. We do this. And we think that's how we're supposed to do this. I mean, we see somebody's story on Instagram and we think we know their life. We have fallen into expert delusion. Yep. We walk through the world like we're narrating a documentary that we've already lived through. Lies we tell ourselves. Lies. We see a tree and think, tree. We see a coworker and think, analytical. We've labeled everything so that we don't have to look at it anymore. And that sucks. And I'm tired of it. We're like the person at the museum who spends the whole time reading the little plaques on the wall, but never actually looks at the painting. We're so busy categorizing life that we're actually forgetting to experience it. And yeah, I'm a little mad. Because why did we do this to ourselves? Curiosity is an attitude to the boredom of already knowing. And maybe that's not the right way to put it, but maybe it's antidote. I'm sure you'll let me know. But there's ways that we can fix this, right? I mean, there's got to be a solution. There's always a solution to a problem, right? How about we stop skimming and start living? We have to move to judgment of discovery. And we have to do it by applying curiosity in two specific directions. Curiosity about something. Most of us have a list of things we've labeled boring, but boring is usually just a lack of data. If I die tomorrow, I want to be someone who marveled at the complexity of this world, not someone who just used it like a vending machine. It's like I said in one of my earlier episodes about God, some people just treat him like it's a genie in a bottle. I think we do that with the world on a daily basis because we just figure we got another day. Just pop another one out like a Pez. There's the rabbit hole rule. Once a week, pick a mundane object, a pencil, a cup of coffee. Ask, where did this start? Or how was it invented? Who came up with it? Whose hand touched this before mine? When you realize a simple latte required a global supply chain and years of expertise, the world stops being a backdrop and starts being the miracle that it is. Next, have some curiosity about someone. This is where we go from labeling to learning. In episode 1, we talked about styles. Curiosity turns those labels into a conversation. Excuse me, I need a drink. When someone says something, even if you've heard it 1,000 times, and right now I'm picturing, and I love my mama, but I'm picturing my mama saying something to me and me going, yep, you've already said this 1,000 times. Heard it. Not interested anymore. But don't jump in with your opinion. Just say, that's a perspective I haven't fully explored. Tell me more and tell me how you got there. Because you're taking your, this is boring, or I've heard it 1,000 times, and actually hearing it for the first time. To become curious. There's a hidden story. Don't you want to find out what it is? Assume everyone you meet is locked in a room with a treasure inside. Your job isn't to judge the door, find a key, or examine the lock. It's to ask, what's the one thing you're most proud of? Or what's something nobody ever asks you about? And I know at work, I'm going to say what's one fun fact. And I know at work, we all hate that when we have to get onto it, like a Zoom call and we're meeting, we're meeting new teammates or a new, supervisor or anything. And it's like, fun fact. And we all scramble at the last minute. Well, why do we got to scramble? Why don't we know something enough about ourselves that we know a fun fact? And we want to share it. And you might make somebody curious. And curiosity isn't always just, it's, whoa. When you ask someone some of these questions, you're excavating. And you can see how fast energy can switch from just showing genuine curiosity. Because you've stopped managing someone and you started listening and learning. This all ties into every single thing we've talked about over the last couple of months. because we talked about love languages. We've talked about communication styles. We've talked about cohesive superpowers in one way or another, just by the different topics we've championed, maybe discussed, articulated. But curiosity isn't just a nice add-on. It's the engine that makes all of the other tools work. I'm going to break this down into like curiosity plus styles from our first communication episode. So without curiosity, the 4 styles are just boxes. And I took notes, and I'm kind of reading off of those notes because I don't want to screw this up. I'm human. So with these 4 styles, they're a map. You don't just see a functional person, you get curious about the process that makes them feel safe. If you do curiosity plus body language, when you see someone leaning away, curiosity stops you from getting defensive. You move from being a witness to being an ally. Curiosity and conflict. This is the ultimate fire extinguisher. If it's physically impossible to be truly curious and truly angry at the same time. I'm not throwing that out as a challenge. So don't. Just trust me. The moment you ask, help me understand how we got here, you have stepped off the battlefield and onto a bridge. Use it. Don't burn it. And then you have curiosity and digital. This is the fuel for the assumption audit. It allows you to interject tone and grace where the screen left a void. And I'm going to have some of these like checklist PDFs on my website. Some of them will be free to help in communication and finding style and just helpful things. But curiosity is the difference between using skills to manipulate a conversation to just illuminate it. If today were your last day, you wouldn't want to leave the world feeling like you'd already seen it all. You'd want to leave feeling like you were still in the middle of a great mystery. Curiosity is the ultimate act of humility. It's saying the world is bigger than I am and my opinion of it. Find one thing or one person you've dismissed as boring or that you've already figured out and go a layer deeper. Ask the extra questions. Look for the hidden treasure. And as always, be kind, be grateful, stay humble.